taking a look at measures of central angles and arcs. To start this off, we have to first know what a central angle is. So remembering that a central angle is going to be an angle that is formed when the vertex of the angle passes through the center of the circle. So if that is my center of my circle, a central angle would look like that, where the vertex of the angle is passing through the center of the circle. Now we can start to learn some different facts here about central angles, and the first will be about its relationship to the degree of the measure of the arc. So when I talk about the arc, I'm talking about this green intercepted arc here. And what this means is that the measure of the angle, so say the angle was equal to x degrees, is equal to the measure of the arc. So therefore the arc will also be x degrees. If I wanted to calculate the major arc, so say I wanted to find the major arc, remember an arc that's more than 180 degrees, I can go all the way around this way, and to find that red arc value, I could take 360 degrees minus my minor arc, this green arc there of x degrees, and that I can find for my to calculate my major arc. Now when we have additional arcs within this picture, you can see here I have just the green arc and the red arc, but if I was to have a picture that had another arc, or I was to add another one to this one, if I extended this blue line down, now I have a situation where I could have several points labeled here. Let's erase this red line. And my green arc will still stay. And say I have A, O, B, C. I am able to add up these arcs in order to equal the full arc. So for example, I can state here that arc AB, done in green, plus arc BC, we'll do that in yellow, is equal to arc ABC. Now be careful here because the order matters, and all of these, it looks like we can't see them very well here, are all labeled as arcs with our arches above them. Now from here we can do it as the actual measure to say that it's going to be equal to, so the measure of arc AB plus the measure of arc BC is equal to the measure of arc ABC. Let's take a look at a problem here where we are going to be asked to find the measure of all of these indicated arcs. So each of these are going to be arcs that we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure we have our arc symbol on top of all of these so we all know what we're looking to find here. And remember, the main idea here is that the angle, if it's a central angle, the angle equals the arc. So for example, because I know this angle is 64 degrees here, then I know my arc PT must be equal to 64 degrees. If I know that this angle is 42 degrees here, angle SUR, then I know that because of vertical angles, angle PUQ must also be 42 degrees, and therefore arc PQ must be equal to 42 degrees. If I wanted to keep going through here, I can say, well, this is going to form a straight line here, which that straight line is also known as a diameter. So I'm able to calculate this angle here, angle TUS, by saying 180 minus 64 minus 42. So I get 180 minus 106, which gives me 74 degrees. So I know that angle TUS is equal to 74 degrees, and therefore arc ST is also equal to 74 degrees. So now that I have some of these kind of figured out and calculated, let's go and take a look at the questions that we have. The first one that it's asking for is PQ. So PQ we found already right here, and PQ is equal to 42 degrees. Number 2, we're looking for the length of ST that we just calculated here by using the idea that a semicircle is equal to 180 degrees. So I got the measure of arc ST to be equal to 74 degrees. Now we're going to really watch our order with this next one. We're going to be looking for the measure of arc TPS. So that means I'm going to start at T, go to P first, and then loop all the way around to S. That's a very different arc than going to TSP, so be very cautious there. So for this one here, I'm going to use my concept and idea that if I want to find that big major arc, a major arc is equal to 360 degrees minus our minor arc of 74. So for this one, I can say 360 degrees minus 74 degrees is equal to 286 degrees. To find the measure of arc RT, I'm going to start at R and go to T. Now I'm going to assume that this is going to be our minor arc because it's labeled with just 2 letters. So arc RT. So to find the length of RT, I'm going to have to add up 2 arcs. I can add up the measure of arc RS plus the measure of arc ST. So I'm saying 42 plus 74 is equal to 116 degrees. Our next arc that we want to find is going to be RQS. So again, order makes a difference for this. So I'm going to start at point R, and I'm going to travel to Q first, and then finish up at S. So this is a major arc. The best way and easiest way to find that major arc is to take 360 degrees, and we're going to subtract the minor arc of SR. So minus 42. So we get 318 degrees. Our last one for this one, we can take a look, and we want to find the measure of arc QR. So I'm going to erase kind of some of the things we have here just because we have so much going on in this picture so far. So if I want to find the length of the measure of arc QR, so here's Q, and I want to go to R. So for this one, to find QR, I know that QS is a diameter, and that is creating a semicircle. So I can find QR by taking 180 and subtracting arc RS from it. So I can say that I'm taking 180 and I'm minusing the measure of arc RS. So I get 180 minus 42 is equal to 138 degrees. Now the biggest thing to remember for all of these problems, the main idea is that with a central angle, the angle is equal to the arc.